Thanks for joining us for City Council Comments. I'm Steve Erickson along with Mayor Jerry Cook. Today we're talking about both the July 3rd and the July 17th City Council meetings. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
We were just looking at the numbers for this, and the meetings were, one was 25 minutes and one was 28 minutes.
Yes, they were. Well, it's middle of summer, a lot, I don't know. Not sure why, but it was good.
All right. Well, we'll jump into things. Not a ton to talk about, but we'll talk about what there is. One of the first items here we want to talk about is a check presentation. This was the Coon Rapids Fire Department presenting their Fill the Boot check to MDA. Yeah,
this is a beautiful program. The fire department works with Anoka County, and they get lanes blocked up on Main Street, kind of out by Menards and Wells Fargo and Costco there. And they've got they work the lanes and they carry the boots and they collect money for the MDA. And they've been doing this for a number of years. And on Tuesday night, they presented a check to MDA for $26,780. And but then the next day they counted the coins, $841.
Jeez. So
the total was $27,621, and that makes a total for the last 5 years $134,094 that our fire department has collected for MDA just through this Fill the Boot program. And it's great. The firefighters like it, and the citizens going by that are digging deep and throwing money in the boots, it's really nice.
Yeah, they really turn out and they really provide from the coins. Like I say, it takes everything from the coins that people find, the dollars. Some people throw in 20s. I'm sure even
hundreds,
bigger bills than that, it was just great.
Yeah, it's really encouraging, and like the residents, the citizens really step up and participate. And the biggest thing was getting really big signs that say we're doing this for the MDA, and we're not doing this fundraising for a new fire truck. Because the first couple times they didn't have a lot of signage, so they were, are you raising money for equipment or what?
Yeah. So, well, good for them, and I imagine we'll probably see them out there again next year.
I would imagine so.
All right. Council approved a joint powers agreement. This was with Anoka Ramsey Community College. This is for their security contract.
Sure. So annually, we renew a contract with the state of Minnesota providing security for Anoka Ramsey Community College. We provide a police reserve officer to do parking lot patrols and do escorts if students want escorts out to the parking lot. And it's like $30,000 a year. It was just a 3% increase from last year, matching the cost of living and everything else. And it's a nice cooperation between the city and the state at the college.
All right. Council approved a final plat. This is for Lone Ridge. I believe it was 125th Lane and Shenandoah Boulevard area.
That's where it is. It's this piece of property there that kind of got orphaned from the rest of the Shenandoah project, and then Ashley Oaks to the west of the townhomes. So they've been trying to figure out for at least 20 years that I'm aware of, trying to figure out a development that would work there. And they got close a couple times, and then the housing market crashed, and now it's finally been developed into five lots, I believe it is. And they had to get creative with the sewer system and create a little association to pay for the sewer, the hybrid sewer system they needed. But it's going to be, it'll be a nice development, and it's going to be on that frontage road which parallels Shenandoah Boulevard.
Yeah, and they added that frontage road at one point, right, for that townhouse project?
For the townhome project, Ashley Oaks there, yeah.
Okay, so we'll eventually see some townhomes.
Single-family homes.
Or single-family homes on this property.
It'll be 5 single-family homes, and then the very top, the very north end of the section is being reserved for for park, and there will be a trail access that'll eventually connect over to Bison Park. I think they still have to make another connection in there. There's still a piece of Ashley Oaks property that interrupts what will be a trail.
Okay. All right. We'll look forward to seeing what they put in there as far as the homes go. We had 2 items on this meeting, basically amending the budget to purchase 2 things.
What we've learned since we took over, so Morrissey Hospitality operates Kendall's Tavern and Chop House, but it's a city-owned restaurant, and we're learning how much commercial equipment costs. And a double oven brazier thing was like $62,000 or something. amortized over 5 years. So we had to amend the budget to replace that because that was not anticipated. And then Public Works had one of their roof air conditioning units go out. And you can't really plan for that. So we had to amend the budget out of the facilities fund, $25,000 for replacement of that.
Okay. So we've taken those two actions, and those new items will be on the way. And
yeah, so that's kind of why the facilities fund is there, to step up and cover when you have the
And that's
surprises.
for the AC unit or the roof unit. The golf course comes out of their budget, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so the golf course is all part of the golf operation, which is an enterprise fund, which is self-sustaining.
Yeah.
The revenues and the incomes there need to cover their budget. So even though they're covering it, the city council still has to amend the budget to approve that expenditure.
All right. That's all we have from our July 17th City Council meeting that we want to talk about. We can go back to our first meeting of the month now, July 3rd. One of the first items there we wanted to talk about was the approval of a site plan. This is actually an extension of the approval of the site plan for the Walser Auto dealership up in Gateway Commerce Center.
Yeah. So the Gateway Commerce Center is the strip that parallels Highway 10 right off of west of Hanson, and it's on the east end is the new Honda dealership, and then on the west end of that service road, it has been approved for the new Walser dealership.
Okay.
And Walser Nissan is looking for a 1-year extension on their approval because they weren't ready to start yet.
Okay.
They originally had that reserved in case they were awarded the Honda dealership, but they weren't. Sutton was, and then so Sutton took the other end of the street for the new Honda dealership, and then Walser is going to move their Nissan dealership to the west end.
Okay. And so we've seen some activity on the Honda dealership site at this point.
Yep, and the Honda dealership, they're going gangbusters there, and they're actually going to have a kind of a photo op groundbreaking.
Yeah, like a shovel.
Yeah, I was thinking shovel, and I thought shovel.
Yeah.
That's not right. Yeah, groundbreaking, like July 26th or something over there.
Okay, but coming along pretty good there as far as that, and then I imagine we'll see action eventually on the Walser project.
Yep, and then what we don't know yet is what they're going to infill. Walser Nissan is already in Coon Rapids, and we don't allow used car sales, so it'll have to be another dealership, new dealership that backfills that. So my guess is it'll be something like a Kia or a Hyundai or something like that, but we don't know. But Walser plans on bringing in another brand.
Okay, but they're moving the whole other
Nissan
over to the new location.
Yep.
All right. Had another approval of an extension of a site plan. This is for an apartment project on Coon Rapids Boulevard, correct?
Yep, and this has been, they've really been working on this for a long time, and I think it ended up to be a lot more expensive than they had anticipated, and it's where the old Pedersen Floral building is, right next, just west of U-Haul.
Okay.
As they're doing the engineering, they discovered there was a large sewer line that runs through the middle of the lot that they literally had to design the building around, and then they had to acquire more lots to the west, and it just became a very expensive project. So they're still working on getting their funding together for that. So we granted them another extension of their permit on that.
All right. Our next item here we want to talk about is a resolution accepting a grant from the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway. Always nice to get some money.
So Burlington Northern Santa Fe, and this is their Railway Foundation, has really been generous around Coon Rapids lately. They've stepped up the last 2 years in a row and funded a leadership training over at Coon Rapids High School to the tune of like $7,000 a year, I believe that is. Yeah. And then they provided $5,000 in funding to the Coon Rapids Police Department to replace squad cameras that desperately needed to be replaced. Nice. And so they've been stepping up, providing for the community. So we appreciate it.
Okay, and did you say what this money is specifically being used for?
So squad cameras. In squad cameras, yeah, ours have been just piecing them together. They don't have the software to run them anymore. They're not supporting the software anymore. I think they said it was like Windows 7 or some old generation of Windows anyway. So we're getting all new squad cameras, all new back-end software for it, and those will be compatible for the inevitable addition of body cameras. Discussion to be held sometime in the future.
All right. Council adopted a resolution awarding a contract for sidewalk expansion. I know we talked about this last month, but we've actually awarded the contract now.
Right. So now they'll be starting construction. We just did the easements at the most recent meeting, so that they can do the sidewalk connections along Coon Rapids Boulevard on the north side where they're missing trying to fill in the gaps, and then up by the Coon Rapids Middle School, 115th Avenue, and then Dogwood Street, filling in those gaps as well. So it'll be, and the contract was awarded, and I don't recall what the bill date was.
Looks like Tyzac Concrete Incorporated, $287,000. And are they doing this summer?
Yeah, they're doing it this summer. I just don't remember what the dates are.
Mid-July to August 31st, it looks like.
I'm sure the objective is to have it done before school starts.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
All right. Council approved another resolution. This is a 2018 multi-use trails and bicycle facilities grant application. Looks like we're looking for some money here.
We're looking for some money. And that's really the only way that this is going to happen, is if we can get some money and it can be declared kind of a regional purpose. Down by the old Coon Rapids Shopping Center, where the new townhome project is going to be going in from Centra Builders, right across from Lilliput. They're looking at making a regional trail connection that'll kind of sweep across Coon Rapids Boulevard. And it's, I think it's like a $4 million project. So the only way it'll happen is if the Met Council recognizes that it has a regional value to the regional trail system, in which case they will provide about 80% of the funding.
Okay.
And I don't know how much use it'll be. It's really hard to anticipate that, but aesthetically, it's going to be a really nice gateway into Coon Rapids, and it'll allow us to be kind of creative, with some sort of a welcome to Coon Rapids thing there. I think it's going to be a nice feature, and it's a nice connection for those trail systems.
All right. So the council basically has to approve the submitting of the grant application.
Yes, yeah, and that's what we've done. Basically, we've said, we're all on board. If you can get this funding for us, and if you support this, we'll find the rest of the funding. We'll get it built.
All right, so we'll eventually hear about whether that's approved or not.
Yeah, and who knows how many years it'll take this. But,
everything can be a process, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think back to other things where we apply, it's denied, and we apply, and it's denied, and you apply. I also go, hey, we got it this year. So,
no doesn't mean no. You just have to keep trying, right?
Well, exactly, right. Yeah. It's only no if you quit.
Right, exactly. All right, well, we look forward to hearing about that being successful. Council adopted a resolution and appointed board members. This is accepting the Coon Rapids 2018 Member City Grant Agreement and appointing board members.
Twin City Gateway Visitors Bureau represents 22 hotels and 9 communities, from Anoka over to Shoreview, Blaine, Coon Rapids, New Brighton. I don't remember all of the 9, but and they actually use the lodging tax to do marketing for the hotels in the area, and we get a percentage back. Each community gets a percentage to use to support and to promote community events that draw people to the area. Okay. So we got a check from Twin City Gateway for $23,000 to use towards community events, and 90% of that is dedicated to the Community Strength Foundation, and the Community Strength Foundation is what's used to fund the concerts in the park, the fireworks, things like that. And then there was one vacancy on the board that was reserved for a Coon Rapids hotel operator, and that's been vacant for a while. We had somebody in there for years, and then they sold their hotel, and then we had somebody else, and I don't think they saw the value, and now we have somebody new, and I'm so sorry, I don't remember his name, but I think he's either owner or manager of the Country Suites.
Okay.
You have the name there, don't you?
Mr. Hassan Mayan?
Okay.
That looks like it, to the Twin Cities Gateway Board of Directors.
Yeah, so he's been at one meeting so far, and so he's been officially appointed to that board.
Okay, and I imagine it's important to have that representation on that board from the city.
Well, I can't tell you how often, there's community reps, and then there's hotel reps. Right. And when the executive director says, we're thinking about spending ad money in this market or in this venue or whatever it is, we really look to the hotel operators to say, do you see the value in that?
Right.
Do you see the value in spending the money more in this quarter than that quarter? And so it's a really good balance on there of city representation and hotel operators, and it's required to get the best, the biggest return on that money.
Right.
And we just looked at the numbers last week, and we're having a higher return on our investment than the other travel or the other visitor bureaus. And I think it's because we're really doing well with our ad investments.
All right.
And it's funny because a lot of people have never heard of the Twin City Gateways.
Yeah.
Well, and that's because all of our most of our advertising money goes into like Vancouver or Chicago or wherever they figure the majority of the people that visit Twin City Gateway are. That's where the advertising money goes to.
That makes sense.
So,
and you draw those people that come in, I imagine, for some of these bigger tournaments we have in the North Metro. A lot of the hotels get used and all that. So
between the golf tournaments and the National Sports Center and all of these large events in the area, and then of course there was a very large spike in February with the Super Bowl here.
Yeah.
That was the highest daily room rent that they'd seen in like ever.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're coming for the Super Bowl, probably not a lot of people travel up to this climate in the winter. But
well, surprisingly, they stay busy.
Yeah.
They year round, the hotels are going because there's indoor activities or indoor sports things. There's always reasons for people to come to the Gateway.
Yes, there you go. All right, that is all the items we have from that council meeting we want to talk about. A couple other things before we go. We have our final neighborhood meeting. I feel like we just kicked things off and we're already talking about our last neighborhood meeting of the summer.
Well, and I don't want to jinx it if that was possible, but we haven't had any rainouts and we haven't had any that we haven't had because of heat. So we're 1, 2, 3 are done, and we have our fourth and final at Alder Park Tuesday night, July 24th.
Yep.
And those go from 6:30 to 8. And I just encourage everybody to come out because you bring all of the departments to the neighborhood, and if you have questions about the water, the curb, whatever's going on, there's somebody there that can answer your question or will definitely get back to you. Plus, we have good city council representation. There's always several from the city council, and I'm usually there, and I've always been there, actually.
Yeah, there you go. 100% attendance.
100% attendance, yeah.
We like that. Yeah, it seems to grow each year with even just the info that staff brings out. The tables, I feel like there's more information each time we go out there. So, great resource if you have questions or want to learn about various city programs. Everybody's in one spot.
Yep. And you get the fire chief walking around with ice cream for everybody. And
it's great. And if you're lucky, sometimes even he'll pass by 2 or 3 times. Like, are you sure you don't want more ice cream? It's going to melt.
Yeah, out at Marshland Park, I think a friend of mine was out there. He goes, he goes, that was dinner.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
But he kind of pushes it. He's going, it's hot. The ice cream is melting. Please take some.
We need to get rid of this. All right. Also want to remind folks that Night to Unite is quickly approaching.
Yeah. Tuesday night, August 7th.
Yeah.
And that's really enough. Coon Rapids does a really good job. The neighbors step up. We have over 100 meetings or 100 of those block parties. And the police department does a great job organizing them, providing the tools. And then, they put together that big spreadsheet for all of the parties and who requested fire and who requested police visit and who requested a city council visit. And it's really fun to go visit those meetings.
All right. If you haven't already, contact the police department, sign up your group. I imagine we're getting close to the deadline, but if you want to get those registered so you can get visits from the police and fire departments to your party as well. Again, Tuesday, August 7th. I know the parties probably get started around 5. I imagine some go pretty late.
Officially, I think most of them are done at like 9 or 10, but
I imagine there's those 1 or 2 that, holding on a little bit there.
Well, when we're figuring out how to visit them, we'll go, that one's going to run late. You can go there later.
Yeah, you kind of get to know when you've been around to some of the parties, right? And then we also want to remind folks that the primary election is coming up here. No races here locally, but there are races out there that folks can vote on.
Yeah, lots of races going on this year, but for the contested primary races, the election will be August 14th. And you can already come to City Hall and vote. You can do your absentee voting. And do they still call it that, since you really don't have to be absent?
Early.
to vote?
I think it's early voting now.
Early voting.
Because anybody can vote early now, as long as you meet the requirements.
Sure. Yeah, and it's primarily, I think it's just state offices on our ballots locally here. I don't think we have any contested local ones, but it's still important.
All right. So again, the primary for those that they need to narrow the field of candidates coming up on Tuesday, August 14th. So you can do that in person on that day, or again, you can early vote here at City Hall.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
That is all I have. Because of night night, our next council meeting will be one day late.
Wednesday night, August 8th.
Yeah. All right. That's my mom's birthday.
Well, there you go.
Happy birthday, Mom. She'll be 70. Big night. Maybe she'll come to the council meeting. I don't know. To celebrate. All right. That is all I have. Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. Things are going great over at the splash pad. If folks haven't gotten out to check out the splash pad, I encourage them, because it's just been a really big hit.
Yeah. The farmers market, good time to check those out.
Yeah.
Go there on Wednesdays, 3 to 6.
Afternoons, 3 to 6. Yeah.
Check out the splash pad while you're out there.
There you go.
I know the first one was really hot, so that worked out good for some folks. And then the summer concerts are still going on for a couple more weeks. So we had our first official rain out for that, though.
Oh, boy, last Thursday, right? Or Thursday before last?
No, it was last Thursday. That's the first time they've had to call the meeting. Because we always advertise rain or shine, but we were looking at the skies around 5 o'clock that day. I'm like, would they still have a concert with this weather? And no, they had to call it, and the first time they've had to do that for a summer concert. But still a couple more Thursday nights to get out there here this summer and enjoy the music.
There you go. I encourage them to get out. I encourage everyone to get out and do that.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here today and talking to us. Thank you at home for watching, and we'll see you back here after our 2 meetings in August.